With Christmas approaching, is now the best time to buy yourself a new OLED monitor? Or should you wait for 2024 and get one of the new models that are being launched? What improvements and new technologies are coming next year? We thought we'd run through all the exciting new OLED monitors we know about already for 2024, as well as make some predictions about others we will likely see announced soon, especially with the CES event coming up in January. We'll also give you our current OLED monitor recommendations if you want to buy something sooner, or if you've got money burning a hole in your pocket right now. There's a pretty large range of OLED monitors available to buy right now in sizes of 27-inch, 34-inch ultra-wide, 45-inch ultra-wide, and even 49-inch super ultra-wide formats. There's also a few 42-inch 16:9 size screens available that kind of bridge that gap between desktop monitor and TV. Out of all of the currently available models, here's a quick look at our current top picks in case you want to buy something soon. We'll leave links in the description below where you can check out reviews and our latest pricing for each of those screens in your region. In the 27-inch space, we've got the Asus ROG Swift PG27AQDM, which uses an LG Display W OLED panel with a 2560 by 1440 resolution and a 240Hz refresh rate. It's a very popular model, a very popular option, and it's widely recommended in this 27-inch space. If you want something a bit bigger, there's a decent range of 34-inch ultra-wide models available, but our current recommendation is the Dell Alienware AW3423DWF. It's got a Samsung QD OLED panel, a 3440 by 1440 resolution, and a 165Hz refresh rate. Even larger still would be the 45-inch ultra-wide models, and there's only a few available in that size at the moment. Our current recommendation is the Corsair Xeneon Flex 45 WQHD 240, which is unique in that it's got a flexible screen, allowing you to use that as a flat panel or with a curve if you prefer. That's built around an LG Display W OLED panel with a 3440 by 1440 resolution and a 240Hz refresh rate. Larger still are the 49-inch super ultra-wide models. Our current recommendation is the Samsung Odyssey OLED G95SC, which has a 5120 by 1440 resolution, a QD OLED panel from Samsung, and again another 240Hz refresh rate, higher than some of the competing models in this segment actually. If you do want a large format 42-inch 16:9 screen, then our current recommendation is the Asus ROG Swift PG42UQ, which was built to be a monitor instead of a TV and so includes normal monitor features, but it also has a 3840 by 2160 4K resolution, a WOLED panel from LG Display, and a 138Hz refresh rate. So that's our recommendations for what you could buy right now in each of the sizes, but there are some exciting new screens already announced or teased that we know of that are going to be released in 2024. So maybe you'll want to hang on for something new and different next year. Probably most exciting are the new 32-inch sized OLED monitors that have already been announced, which will finally bring higher pixel density and 4K resolution to the monitor size screens. They'll be combined with a 240Hz refresh rate to create a dream monitor for many people. Back in August 2023, we had a chance to see one of these in action, the Asus ROG Swift PG32UCDM, which was launched at Gamescom and built around Samsung's new QD OLED panel. It's bound to be a popular choice, continuing on from the successful ROG OLED monitors we've seen so far. We know also that MSI are planning to launch two similar models in their range, using the same Samsung QD OLED panel with a 4K resolution and 240Hz refresh rate again. Their MPG321URX and MAG321UPX will be slightly different in some specs. For instance, we expect the former to have a higher power delivery from the USB Type-C connection than the latter, although much of the final spec remains to be confirmed. Finally, in the 32-inch space, we know that Doe, formerly known as Eve, are planning to release two 32-inch OLED monitors of their own, one with a normal matte anti-glare screen coating and the other with a custom glass glossy finish. The panel choice for their models we believe is still being finalised, but it's possible that they will be using LG Display's W OLED panel instead of Samsung's QD OLED panel that Asus and MSI have opted for, with some different performance characteristics and specs. More is still to be confirmed for their model though, so keep an eye out for more news on that. Asus and Doe suggested at the time of their announcements that their 32-inch 4K models would be released during Q1 2024, whereas MSI are planning to unveil more information at CES in January. Our expectation is that we will probably see the first of these new screens available to buy in probably late Q2 based on what we've seen from panel production roadmaps previously. Similar but slightly different is a recently teased new screen from Dell, their Alienware AW3225QF. This is 32-inch again and has a 4K resolution QD OLED panel with 240Hz refresh rate. But unlike other models we've just discussed, this will have a subtle curve to the panel instead of a flat format like the other models. There was a suggestion at the TwitchCon event in October that these would be released in January 2024, but given we've still not seen any official press release or product pages, and based on the panel production schedules we saw last, we probably think this is a little bit unrealistic. Q2 would be our expectation again for their model, although maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised and it will come to market a bit sooner in Q1. So that's a good selection of forthcoming 32-inch 4K 240Hz OLED monitors you may want to hang on to for next year. They'll provide a larger screen size, a much higher resolution, and a better pixel density for sharper images and better picture quality. It's also worth keeping in mind that those using Samsung's QD OLED panels will also be from the company's second generation of QD OLED, which has improved text clarity thanks to updates to their pixel structure compared with the first gen panels. The current 34-inch ultra-wide OLED monitors are all first gen QD OLED, while the 49-inch super ultra-wide models that are already based on this newer technology from the second gen are now available as well. More information on that in the description and links below, where we talk a lot more about second gen QD OLED. There's also some other sizes, resolutions and refresh rates that are announced that will offer something new and different. First up, there's a couple of 27-inch monitors with the same 2560 by 1440 resolution as today's models, but with a higher refresh rate that jumps up from 240Hz currently to 360Hz. This will offer improved motion clarity, which should be equivalent now to the now available 540Hz refresh rate LCD monitors like the Asus ROG Swift PG248QP that we recently reviewed in fact. They'll also offer improved frame rate support and overall system latency as well. These will be built around Samsung QD OLED panels instead of the current WOLED panels that all current 27-inch 240Hz models use. So that does provide some different performance characteristics, including clearer semi-glossy screen coating and a wider colour gamut for instance. Dell have teased their Alienware AW2725DF at TwitchCon in October again, suggesting that it would be launched in January 2024, but we expect that to probably be later in the year, around late Q2 most likely. MSI also announced two models with their 27-inch 1440p 360Hz panels, their MPG 271QRX and their MAG 271QPX, which will differ again slightly in their specs like their USB power delivery. They said they'd unveil more at CES in January, so the release date for those models is yet to be confirmed. If you do want something a bit bigger, then there's one 34-inch model announced so far with a new updated spec for 2024, and that's the Asus ROG Swift PG34WCDM. This was also showcased at Gamescom in August 2023 and will differ from all the current 34-inch ultra-wide models on the market today, in that it will use an LG displayed WOLED panel instead of a Samsung QD OLED panel. It's got the same 3440 by 1440 resolution, a curved format, although it is a bit more curved than the current models, but it does have an updated refresh rate from 175Hz that's available today to 240Hz. It's also going to feature a new brighter WOLED panel offering a 30% increase in brightness compared with the current models and a 1300 nits achieved peak brightness advertised. This is an interesting one to hang on for if you want a higher refresh rate in that 34-inch format or a brighter OLED experience as well. At Gamescom, Asus suggested that this would be launched in Q1 again, with some mention even of it appearing before Christmas. But we'd expect that to probably be around the middle of Q2 to be more realistic. So that's all the models we know of officially that have been announced or teased so far. Some educated guesses would suggest that with CES coming up in January, we will see plenty more monitors announced from other brands too, giving you an even wider range to choose from next year. We wouldn't be at all surprised to see LG Electronics announce some new models based on LG Display's WOLED technology, probably with a 27-inch 1440p 360Hz model being most likely. They may also announce a 32-inch 4K 240Hz model built around their OLED panel too, to compete with models announced already using Samsung's QD-OLED panels. I think there's also a good chance that LG Electronics will announce a larger 39-inch ultra-wide sized OLED monitor using the planned LG Display WOLED panel, which would have a 3440 by 1440 resolution and a 240Hz refresh rate. So the same as the 34-inch panel, but just in a slightly larger screen size. We'd also expect to see Samsung Electronics announce some new models. So far, they've only released 34-inch ultra-wide and 49-inch ultra-wide models, as they've been restricted to only using the Samsung Display QD-OLED panels that are available. With a wider range of QD-OLED panels coming next year, we'd be very surprised if we didn't see Samsung Electronics announce a 27-inch 1440p 360Hz and a 32-inch 4K 240Hz model of their own too. Other manufacturers like Acer, AOC, Corsair and KTC have all shown interest in the OLED market as well. So it's likely that we'll see some options announced from some of them before too long as well. There should be an even wider choice of OLED monitors next year for you to choose from. Keep an eye on our main site for all the news in the OLED monitor market, as well as full coverage of everything announced at the normally very busy CES event in January. Don't forget to hit subscribe as well to stay up to date on all our videos and more OLED monitor content coming soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.